I visited the Guinness Storehouse, Jameson Bow St experience, and Teeling Distillery in Dublin all in one day. First was the Guinness Storehouse. The tour starts with quotes about Guinness and factual tidbits. Guinness created a multi-floor tour filled with exhibits about brewing, history, and advertising. The first couple of floors are dedicated to the importance of the hops, water, and temperature of the Guinness brewing process and the history of the Guinness Storehouse in Dublin. I found most interesting to the brewing history the importance of the coopers who built the barrels, the temperature to get the right roast of the hops, and just all the artifacts that they saved from the years of the brewery. After learning about the Guinness brewing process, it only made sense to have a taste before moving on to the next section, the advertising of Guinness. There is an entire floor showcasing the history of Guinness advertising. They have always been known for their creative yet sometimes cryptic or confusing ads. I really enjoyed seeing some of these turned into statues and displays. They highlight their fish on a bicycle ad, which features women doing what were traditionally masculine activities and not so much about beer until the end. This was just another one of their cryptic ads that got lots of attention with a strong message. The timeline of poster ads was really cool. Their lovely day for a Guinness Toucan advertisement is one of my favorites and has been hanging in my kitchen for years. The Guinness Storehouse tour finishes with a fresh pour of Guinness in their gravity bar. This can only be accessed as part of the tour admission. Here you can get one glass of any of the beers they brew at the storehouse. However, it makes most sense to get a fresh Guinness and watch them pour it properly for you. A Guinness should be poured in a flat-bottom glass about 3/4 of the way, let settle, and then finished with a foamy head over the brim of the glass. This Guinness was my delicious breakfast. The gravity bar is also special as it features 360-degree views of Dublin. I drank my Guinness overlooking the rest of the brewery. Although you do not get to tour the active brewery, I still thought this was a pretty cool tour. After a quick stop for lunch, I made my way to the Jameson Bow St experience. Jameson no longer distills in the city, so the Bow St experience is more like a presentation with a whiskey tasting. This short presentation briefly walks through the history of Jameson and their main steps of distilling whiskey. Presentation finishes with a tasting of 3 Jameson whiskeys. After the tour, you can get a complimentary Jameson cocktail. I ended my day of tours at the Teeling Distillery. This was my favorite of the tours as they take you into the active distillery. When they reopened in Dublin in 2015, Teeling was the first new distillery in Dublin in 125 years. They really like to show that they are the spirit of Dublin and the rebirth of whiskey in Dublin through their artwork. I was really excited to see spirits getting distilled. It's amazing to see the roasters, fermenters, and pot stills in action. The room also had a beautiful sweet malty aroma from the process. It was interesting to see how they would be fermenting many batches at once before moving on to the pot stills. The size of the pot stills was also very impressive. The Teeling tour also did a great job talking about the aging process and how the different barrels and ages affect the color and the taste. I opted for the select tour with 4 whiskeys to taste at the end. This was a great way to finish my day of tours. My favorite was the single malt, which I brought home a bottle. Cheers! The Teeling Distillery was definitely my favorite of the 3 tours.